Hello, welcome to another creation challenge. This is Miss Amy and happy Earth Day. Our creation challenge is about Earth Day today. So the first Earth Day was founded 50 years ago today. They had the first one in 1970. And the reason they wanted to have it was to encourage people to respect the earth, appreciate the world around us, and our environment, which means like our water, our land, air, plants, and animals. So they just wanted us to be able to think about the ways that we might be hurting the earth, and then also think about ways that we could help the earth and fix it. And so shortly after the first Earth Day, people were inspired to pass some laws to help clean up the air and the water and protect endangered species of animals. And so every day, every April 22nd since 1970, we have celebrated Earth Day each year. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the ideas that you might be hearing about on Earth Day before I let you go off and create something. So one of the words you might be hearing about is pollution. And that basically just means things that we put into the environment, the world around us, that could harm it. And some things that we can pollute are like the air, the water, the soil, even. Things that we might be using to do that are chemicals, materials like plastic that stay around for a long time and can hurt things in the environment, or even things like different kinds of energy, like too much heat or light can be considered things that pollute other things. You might also hear the word conservation. And that basically means protecting something, saving something. And the good news is we can do things and take action that will help conserve and protect our environment, the air, the land, the water, the plants and animals. We can do things to help that. You might also hear a lot about climate or climate change. That's something that you might hear a lot about this particular Earth Day. So what that means is climate change means when there's a change in an area's average conditions. So when we think of Alaska, we think that it's pretty cold most of the time. And when we think of the desert, we think it's pretty dry and maybe windy most of the time. So that's kind of the climate. And so when there's a change in the conditions like the temperature or the rainfall over a period of time, we notice that. And it's natural for things to change, but scientists have observed that in the last 150 years, the average temperature of the Earth is getting hotter more quickly than they would have expected it to do with just natural changes. So that you might have heard this term also, that's often referred to as global warming. And they do think that we as humans are contributing to the global warming issue, but the good thing is there are also things we can do to help prevent that. And so the reason why global warming and climate is important, and you might hear a lot of people talk about it, is that when the Earth's temperature is getting hotter like this, it can have an effect on our weather. We can have stronger storms and more dangerous storms and wildfires and hurricanes. And the rising temperatures can also make it not so healthy for plants and animals and even us people on the earth. So it's not a good thing for our planet, and we want to try and find ways that we can fix it. So how can we help? Well, one of the ways we can help is simply plant more trees and plants and flowers. Plants are great at helping reduce pollution. They're able to absorb things from the air and from the soil that help cut down on pollution. And also they can offer food for us. They can offer food for animals and shelter for animals. So planting things is a great way to help the environment. Also, you want to think about only using what you need. So you want to think about how much you use, how much we throw away, what kind of materials of things that we ask for or buy. Because did you know that if the number of garbage trucks that Americans fill up in 1 year could reach halfway to the moon from the Earth. That's a lot of garbage. So we want to try and cut down on our trash by recycling. We want to think about reusing things. Anything that we can repurpose or reuse is going to be a help. We want to think about maybe using materials that are easier to be reused or that will break down easier. So plastic is a big thing that we're trying to cut back on and get rid of in terms of that. You also, a third thing that you can do is think about the energy that you use and that you're contributing to the environment. So that means things like think about how often do you have the lights on or other electronic devices? Are there times we can turn them off and save some energy? Think about water. Make sure we're not running the water faucet while we're brushing our teeth, just turn it on when we need it. Another way would be to think about when you're going somewhere, is it close enough that you can maybe walk or ride your bike on a nice day rather than going for a ride in the car? So all these things will help us conserve energy. So now I want to extend a challenge to you to create something related to Earth Day. So you might decide you're going to plant something. It could be indoors or outdoors. You might want to make something out of recyclable materials or stuff you have around the house. So if you've got cardboard tubes, you can make stuff. If you've got little containers, egg cartons, you might be able to make an art project or, make an invention or make a fort out of boxes. There's just all kinds of things that you can do science experiments with different objects you might have around your house. You might also want to write a story or a poem, draw a picture that celebrates the earth in some way. You could go on a nature scavenger hunt, check out your backyard or go for a short walk around your neighborhood and see what kind of things you notice about nature. Or you might even think up or design an invention that could one day help the environment. Maybe ways for us to conserve energy or new materials to use. Whatever you can dream up and imagine, we want to see it at the library. So in the description for this video, there are links to websites that give you a little more information about Earth Day and also give you lots of ideas for projects that you can do. There's also an email address in the description, so if you want to send photos or videos or anything you'd like to share with the library, please do so and we'll highlight some in future videos. Thanks for watching. Happy Earth Day.